Want that? Go get me one. Okay, let's go.
Welcome to the revitalization of the Lonz Mansion and the celebration we're having for it today. We're so proud to have been able to restore another piece of history for Middle Bass Island after the work we've done with the winery. We love the fact that we can continue on the property and redevelop and rehabilitate and improve upon the facilities here at Middle Bass Island State Park. I'm Michael Veris. I'm the Historical Resources Manager for ODNR, and I've been working on this project since my first day at the office in May 2022. Is that when I started? I think that's when I started. As you can expect, there's been a lot of twists and turns and ups and downs and unexpected things thrown into it, but we are so happy that we can all be here today with this. And any of you who have long memories or even short memories of a year ago can see straight away how much has been done. It's been a pleasure to frequently come here and meet a lot of you throughout this project. The residents of Middle Bass have been really helpful and really provided a lot of insight into the history of this building and the history of the island itself, and that's been invaluable to me and my job on this project. The stories we're able to tell through this mansion are a testament to the culture and the natural resources that are here on this island, as well as its history, its past, its present, and now with this rehabilitation we've done, its future as well. It's my pleasure to bring up to the podium ODNR Director Mary Mertz. She is a passionate and driven leader who's dedicated to ODNR's mission for the conservation of outdoor recreation in our public spaces. She made sure that we restored this mansion in a way that maintained its historic integrity and emphasized the inherent beauty of this building and of the island that it sits upon. And I think that all the team that was involved in this really accomplished that task that was given to us. So please join me in welcoming Director Mary Mertz.
Thank you, Michael. You put a lot of time and a lot of effort into this project, so I'm excited about it. So it's been a real priority of mine at the Department of Natural Resources to think about our cultural heritage too. And I think people don't typically think about that when they think of ODNR, right? We work on wetlands, we work on conservation and wildlife and parks, but you would be amazed across the state of Ohio how many historic facilities we have. And I didn't feel confident that we were really taking care of them. So now, before we had no one focused on this, now we have at least 3 staff members who their job is to inventory, to take care of, to keep track of, to help us better understand and interpret all of our historic assets across the entire state. Many of you are probably familiar with Marblehead Lighthouse, right? So that's one of our marquee historic assets. But now I think this will be another one, and I'm really excited about that. I'll tell you, a couple years ago, we had Governor DeWine, Fran DeWine up here, and it was when it was in its worst state, right? It looked terrible. Everything inside was completely gutted, and we walked around it, and I think their initial take on it was, yeah, this isn't gonna work. Are we just gonna bring it down, right? Is this a safety hazard? We don't want anyone to get hurt. This is a beautiful state park otherwise, and we need to really be thoughtful about this. Yeah, you're never gonna be able to do this. I said, well, that was a challenge right there. We're gonna make it work. And they are huge history buffs. I know they're so excited that we probably finally brought this project home. So I'm very appreciative to the governor and first lady for their support, not only ensuring we had the financial support to make it happen, but the moral support along the way after that initial reaction of, wow, big job. So thank you all for being here. There's a few people I want to thank in particular. So Mark and Becky Webster donated a number of antiques to help furnish the house. Joan Copeland donated George Lonz's original desk. Her grandfather was George's assistant. So we're so excited to have those original pieces. Other pieces we have in the house are period pieces. Up in the bedrooms, we do have new furniture because we expect people to sleep in those beds, and we wanted to be sure that they would be adequate for commercial standards today. But I think what you'll see is we want to continue to add to this home in the years to come. You know, I love the pieces that were donated. We want people, when they walk in that first floor, which will act like a museum, I want them to feel like George and Fanny just stepped out for a few minutes and you're walking in and you feel that life and you feel the memories they had and you enjoy the history. I also want to thank FMS Architects. I know this was a sort of a labor of love for them, sort of an unusual project, and they did a great job, as well as North Coast Design Build. What a terrific construction company that brought this home so much earlier than was planned, and so thank you to them. A couple other people here. The Ohio State Parks Foundation, which is a foundation we put together to help raise money and support projects across the state. I know one of our foundation members, Marcia Latta, is here somewhere. Oh, right there. And they had a great event to raise public awareness about this a while back, and I think are thinking about what the potential ways are to support it in the future. So get to know Marcia. I also want to thank Director Kim Murnix from the Office of Budget Management. It is only through her wise management of Ohio's financial resources that we are able to come up with the money to do things like this. So appreciate that support very much. So preserving history is the heart of this project. You know, we do know a thing or two about preservation and protection at the Department of Natural Resources. We've spent this past year celebrating our own agency's 75th anniversary and sharing the legacy this department has built since 1949. So this agency has been around for 75 years. We've worked to conserve wildlife, expand outdoor recreation, grow the state's tree canopy, map out our geologic formations, revitalize abandoned mine lands, and oversee the wise use and protection of our natural resources. And you know, during that time, as I mentioned, we've learned that that also includes protecting Ohio's not only natural heritage, but our cultural heritage as well. So in many places, those two go hand in hand. And that includes the history of this island right here. So we take a lot of pride in supporting the heritage of the Lake Erie Islands at ODNR. And this island, many of you know, I think many of you live here and you're from here and you know the history better than me, but we appreciate the unique history this island has in the story of Ohio and the unique environment here that helped to produce wonderful wines since the mid-19th century. It's an exciting story we want to help you tell. Some people, when they think about who the well-known American wine production, maybe think California, but you know, viticulturalists discovered a long time ago that these islands are ideal for grape growing because of the cool springs, the long fall seasons, and so bringing this mansion back to life, I think, helps tell the whole story of that wine production. It's also another way to bring people to the island. We think that's fitting because George and Fanny Lonz were known for being great hosts, right? That's the story about them. Their mansion was a hub for neighbors, friends, workers, and visitors to wander in and out throughout the day, and we want to recreate that special welcome to all the visitors. You'll see a piano inside that represents the family's love of music during these social gatherings. So the stories we hear, that George would play his violin, Fanny would play the piano, music would fill the air. I can't promise we're going to have a sing-along today. That is not on the agenda, but you know, we can think about that for the future. I think you'll enjoy the furniture you see. We've gathered many period-appropriate pieces to fill the space. And like I said, we're not done. But just imagine that you're visiting George and Fanny. So we want to continue bringing people to the Lonz Mansion, and not only the first floor, which will be available as an exhibit space for people to visit, you know, during its open hours, but also the second floor. We anticipate we will rent out that second floor for people to experience an overnight. I think that's just a really exciting thing for people who love history to actually be able to spend the night. So we got 4 bedrooms up there, a master and 3 others, and we've got a few bathrooms up there, and they're all set up for you know, commercial overnight use with reproduction furniture that we think will last. I think you can anticipate our plan is that reservations for that space will go live December 1. So you'll be able to get on our website and find out how you reserve the floor. What we anticipate is we will rent out the entire floor. So you would rent all 4 bedrooms. I will warn people what we don't anticipate is that folks would come down and use the kitchen to make dinner. You will discover that the items we have in there are period appropriate. They are not for cooking dinner, but we all know there are lovely places to go where you can enjoy all of your meals, and we encourage people to do that. So I think you can come and have an absolutely amazing weekend here and learn about Middle Bass and have a great time and enjoy the upstairs and enjoy the porches and all the rest. So we think this mansion, the revitalization of it, is a great addition to what already makes Middle Bass so special. I mean, already when people pull in and they see the Lonz Winery facade, that's a fantastic greeting. You know, the press house, we think, is run by our great partner, Jane Wolnick. You know, the Island Grind and Prohibition. I hope these have become local favorites. We think they're really well received and are excited about their future. So this will add one more reason to come here. A fun site to visit and tour, learn about the history of the site, learn about the people who lived on this island, and understand more about the thriving wine industry that helped the economy of this island for generations. So, besides this park, of course, we have another 75 parks in Ohio. Each of them brings something different to the table, whether it's the rolling hills of Appalachia, the geologic formations of the Hocking region, or the unique history up here on the Lake Erie Islands. But it takes an incredible and dedicated staff to bring it all together. I would say, if you look around and see the people in the blue shirts, you know who that is, but we're all wearing coats because someone didn't follow my orders to provide 70-degree weather today. That was missed. But we have a terrific team, and so I get to introduce one of those folks, one of the leaders. Assistant Chief John Dobney, and I think many of you know John, has been a staunch advocate for Ohio State Parks for generations. And he has a special connection to Middle Bass Island. So please join me in welcoming Assistant Chief John Dobney.
Good morning. I'm not used to holding still, but I'll try. But as the director said, my name is John Dobney, and I'm excited about today. Because 64 years ago, my grandparents came up here for a visit with some friends, and they fell in love with the place and bought a home. And so my family's been out at the West End for all that time. I was 5 years old the first time I came up here. And I've been coming back ever since because I fell in love with it. So if you do the math, you can figure out how old I am, but that's not important. But the director talked about the history. This place is rich in history. And I love history and always been a student of it. I've been blessed to work in state parks for over 40 years. And I'd retired once and came back last year, and part of the reason I wanted to come back and be a part of it is Director Mertz. There have been 14 directors in the 75 years I've worked with 9 of them, and I've never met anyone like her. Her desire to get things done, her drive, and you know, when she and I talked before I came back, I said, I appreciate the fact that you want to get things done, and I want to get things done. And knowing this was on the table was really, really a consideration. So I'm excited to be here. I grew up here. I spent as much time here as I could. I would hear the stories of Lonz from people like Henry Kimmel, who've been here for generations. From Sonny Snyder and his wife Carrie and son John. You know, I knew the boys. I knew John best, but I grew up here, ran around, was always around here, looking at it. We'd fish off the docks down at Lonz's just below here, and what a great time. You couldn't pick a better spot. So the stories and the memories are just unending. To get to talk to fellows like Jim Resch and Kern Gill and Steve Riddle, who all worked here during the Lonz time, and to hear their stories and their reflections on it, you know, it just keeps weaving into the fabric of this community. So it's been a great time. To me, Bud and Gloria Wolf, who've been here for a long time, and their son, Art, became a friend of mine because we were all about the same age and ran around together. Carl Stoik has been up here for a long time, and he had a lot of stories of just the history here. So it is my pleasure to be back to see what's been done, because there were some lean years, and you that have been on the island know there were times after we acquired the property, the finances were not available to do much. But under Director Mertz's leadership, the unwavering support of Governor DeWine and his administration, and the support of the Ohio legislators, she was able to secure funding to do projects much like this. So we do not want that to go past without recognizing their efforts for us. And I could tell you a lot of stories about the past, but I won't. But I will encourage you in this. There are 76 state parks. Each one of them has a story. And I've spent my entire adult life working in parks, and that's what I love to do. So I would encourage you to go out and learn the stories of other parks. This one you'll get to see today, and it's amazing. But you need to go to Mary Jane Thurston and find out how that became Mary Jane Thurston State Park. To figure out what Lorain County Judge Guy Bernard Finley had as a vision for the acreage he gave the state of Ohio to become Finley State Park. You know, A.W. Marion in the south central part of the state, named after the first director of the Department of Natural Resources. I didn't work for him. I've been 75 years ago. I'm sure he's a great guy. I encourage you. Thank you for being here. Thanks for celebrating this with us and for taking part. And again, I'm excited. I want to thank Director Mertz and her administration for this opportunity. I bring greetings from Chief Glenn Cobb. He had another appointment today and couldn't be here. But thank you so much for being here. And what you see before you is what's transpired. The marina was first, saving the facade, building the shelter house. And I had them put the eyebrows on the shelter house because at the time I didn't know if we'd be able to save the house. And I always wanted that bit of architecture to be remembered. So I'm really thrilled of what you're going to see today. But I could envision it, but I couldn't begin to construct it or design it. You know, I appreciate art when I see it, but I can't do it. And that was the driving force of our Division of Engineering within Ohio Department of Natural Resources. And the next speaker that I'm pleased to introduce is Steve Brzezinski, and he helps lead that team. And I don't understand how they make sausages. I just know I enjoy it. And so Steve's going to tell you a little about it. So Steve.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Director. I'm the last one. They get through me and going in city mansion. So, who here is from the island or lives on the island? Just by a show of hands. Thank you for coming out very much. So I'll start with this. This area did not look like this 10 years ago or 12 years ago, and I think every one of you know that. We have come a long way up here, a really long way. So Mr. Veras had said, well, he had been involved in the project for the last year or two. I got recruited to come to DNR in 2013, and I was telling Mr. Dobby I should have known something was up. Because in my first day, I went over to what we refer to as D3. That's where you only get summoned there if you're in trouble or something's going on. That's where the director's office is. So it's D3. You know, and so a lot of us stay out of D3. But I got summoned to D3, and as soon as I get off the elevator, there's two gentlemen I was telling John were waiting for me by the name of Bob Cumbo with Parkston and Mark Anthony. And they both put their arm around me and said, hey, you're the new construction guy, and we got a project for you. And it was this pavilion right here that started for me 12 years ago with my relationship with the islands and Middle Bass Islands in particular. And I'm going to go over some of the projects that we've done and some of the money that we've spent to get here today. And it's not only here on Middle Bass, as the director said and Mr. Dobby said and others. We have quite an initiative within the Department of Natural Resources. And as we've seen, COVID and other, we've all come to realize that sometimes there's nothing better than our natural resources and nature and all of these things that we have, as citizens of Ohio and citizens of of our country, and we want to keep these things nice. And so shamelessly, I am also going to thank Director Murniaks with OBM for continuing to fund us, and thank you very much, and look forward to continuing funding, man. And so another thing too with the island, folks, is I was new to the islands, 12 years. 12 years is nothing at DNR. Mr. Dobney's got 40. I think Steve Riddle had 40. The one thing I love about island, folks, is what I realized right away is, on the mainland, what's yours is yours. But up here in the islands, what's yours is everybody's. You know what I mean? You just kind of share it because that's the way it is. You don't always have the amenities that you have in the mainland, and everybody comes together, and I think that's awesome. So, as mentioned, and we started with the marina. We put the marina in, and then we built the Harbor Master building, and that was in the 2000s, early 2000s. And then, if you remember, a lot of you remember the unfortunate accident. The state took over the winery. And then in 2010, 11, 12, and 13, that place was in a serious state of disrepair, the winery itself, for a lot of you. And even when you came off the ferry, when you went up, you had to actually walk around on the road. All the cars would be there, and you would have to walk around on the road to get back further up in the island. So we've come a long way. After that was, as John mentioned, the pavilion, which I've got so much grief for that pavilion because it's like the largest pavilion we've built. And the footings on that thing, Alex Daskalov will tell you, they're like Volkswagen Beetles for the wind load that's up here. So very nice pavilion. And then of course we did the winery and saving the facade and the tower and the vaults, which was very important. And quite frankly, folks, it was a difficult, complicated project. There was more to it than what you think. Structurally, to do that and cap that off and do what we did and then save those vaults and not disturb them, it was very difficult. From there, the press house, we finished the press house. We did the trail. We did some other electrical renovations. We cleared all this out. And then we did some of these primitive areas down here. And then we also have the restrooms here. And then the full service restrooms over on this side. From there, it was then this mansion. And I will tell you, it was that close to not being here. There was a time 5 or 6 or 7 years ago that it was very close to being demolished. And what had happened was, the true story is that it was a bad winter. We couldn't get up here. And so we waited till the spring, and then things changed, and here we are. And thank goodness, because it's a wonderful facility. And then also we've done some infrastructure as well. So with all that, in what you see today in this campus, approximately $20 million we spent up here in the last 10 to 12 years. And I think that's awesome. And so, we honor our commitment to all of you and all of us as Ohioans, and now we can enjoy this. And the last time I was up, I don't get out often. My chief, who's supposed to be here today, he gets out more. He does more of this. I do less of it. But the last time I was up here was in the summer with Mr. Van Dusen, Keith Van Dusen, our project manager. And I said to him as we're pulling in, I said, boy, we nailed it. We really did, because we saved that. We saved it. That front elevation of the winery. We saved the tower. When you get off and look at this now, and this DNR park on this campus, it's just beautiful. So congratulations to all of you. And we're happy to be a partner with all of you. I would be remiss if I did not thank a few people, and I already mentioned Alex Daskalov. He's with FMS. Alex, you have to raise your hand, just so everybody knows. If you see this gentleman, Alex is responsible for most of these projects up here, as far as the designer on FMS. I would also like to thank our folks with North Coast Construction. Are they here today? I know Mike Cloud and Al. Who's here with North Coast? Can you raise your hand? So we got 3 people, right? Okay, and so we've got those guys. If you see them, thank you. Nice job, by the way, and we appreciate the early completion. Mr. Van Dusen, Keith Van Dusen, our project manager within the Division of Engineering. Mr. Van Dusen is over. Where is Mr. Van Dusen? Right here. I'd like to thank him very much. He put a lot of time in with, also with Ted Welsh is here. Mr. Welsh, please. He put a lot of time and effort in. Andy Thompson. Andrew Kibble, Michael Varies. Michael's been up here, I think, almost every day this week, correct? I mean, it's been a lot at the end. And I'm sorry, I can't name everybody, but if you are with DNR, Parks, Watercraft, Rome, everybody, just please raise your hand for a second. I'd appreciate it. A lot of folks. So I'll leave you with this. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Please remember that we are not the first ones here. There was quite a contingent, a very large family of raccoons who we have displaced. And they lived here for over a decade. So if you see some raccoons running around and they're frowning, just be calm because we took their house. So congratulations, thank you. And I think at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Andy, and I think we're going to cut a ribbon, and you guys are going to see this wonderful marriage.
Well, that was like one, two. I'm gonna go right here. Okay.
Go ahead and cut in 3, 2, 1.
You're fine. Can you go help Daniel? Ooh. What? That's black. Get it.
Get it. Can you not rip it? That's a big rip.
No, I'll wait a second. I'm gonna have Dan
I want a piece of the rip.
count on Luke. Gonna go help him.
Just pull it.
Hannah's the best for doing it, especially with your tattoos on your face.
Oh, you guys have mounted in my room.
Of what?
It's a slightly longer boat.
Yeah, I mean, we ended it up over here somewhere.
Nick went off all the old photos trying to get shots on you guys. I'd say it's pretty close.
I saw you guys coming over with dogs.
Up here, I'm lining this room.
You have to buy the floor.
Oh, what? That's for a night. It's worth it.
Hey,
With your friends?
Oh, that's all?
you're fine. You can say stuff, but when I'm full.
Thank you.
Open that door for me. I want to see in there. I didn't. It's just a nice little. Oh, it's gonna be a queen. Yeah, open it. Inside of there? Oh, it's like a little. Let me see. Oh, so it's like a little. They're gonna be able to set this up as a little fridge. It's like a hotel room. It's so cool.
That's the bedroom I missed.
I'm coming. What? It's a nice bathroom. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. No.
Yeah, you really gotta get a good 10, 15.
By the time you wear the cuffs up, you're just about right.
Go in this one and look out the window. Wow, that is the view.
So the furniture arrived early. Mattresses, it was not the right size yet. So, you guys having a good week? You ready for a good weekend?
Yep.
You got good plans?
Yep.
What are you guys gonna do?
Halloween party tomorrow.
Oh.
That's alright.
So it's called a soaker tub. You're fine. I want you here for that reason.
For what reason? Yeah.
A lot. Whoa. Oh.
Are those the steep steps?
Is that going back down?
Yes, it goes down
Okay.
to the kitchen.
Hand it to me.
Yeah, the door.
It's that amazing strength.
What'd you do, Tracy? Knock the door off?
Uh-oh, so nobody else is going in there, huh?
Oh, yeah, I know.
Strong and mighty. How are you?
Is that how you do it? You got the grand opening?
We would like to move it within what the setbacks are.
I don't know if we're allowed up there. You can go do what you want. Hold on.
Luke, come here.
You can look, but don't go. Do not step on the top, Luke.
Oh.
Dad went down the steep steps.
What?
Well, like I said, I saw Rick Harlan the other day, but emails in there. I don't know what weird shit you guys are doing, but I don't need any cuffs. Good work. Yeah. You guys are neighbors. You can't talk to each other like that.
I think everybody rents.
He knows where you live.
Where does that go? To his steps. Okay, to this side. But we're gonna go back in. Oh, and the little. Hold on. I'm gonna listen.
So I think every single 2 bottles of wine he gets.
Fascinating. Every time I pick up, into Organ's job or write and think about how I want to interpret the space, I fall down a rabbit hole. Absolutely, it's fascinating. I'm really glad that we get to, have such an active role as a state agency in telling all these stories throughout the state, not just here. But, we have so many different projects that we're working on that different facets of how important and how interesting Ohio really is. And it's so great that the director created my position. I'm the second person to have my position because she felt that it was needed. There wasn't somebody working in history for a position.
Secret stash. That's for your ID.
I can put my gift card
For a while.
so that no one can see.
I like how the wine goes all the way down to the base.
But you still only got that.
I heard that story. Nice.
Oh, they got all the ones too.
That's so cool.
I got a couple, but not.
That's so cool.
Piece of property, whatever, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, it's just crazy too. Relatively significant historical things that happen either on or right by a state park. You would think there's parcels of land that they might want to give up or something, but it's like, no, you actually have a connection to some piece of significant history, development, person. That's pretty cool.
That's what I was trying to beat into the scientists over and over again. Like, you need to explain things to people and make them care about what you're doing. Like, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
People should care about your work and why it's important to what you're doing.
Yeah, that's half like that. It's a very important discovery.
Here for ODNR?
Yeah.
Question?
Yeah.
I know where to get away.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, eventually this is a good cocktail spot. Are you guys gonna extend are you guys gonna extend the road? If you do the same concession, so you have the same liquor license, are you gonna bring the roof? Oh, I have no idea.
Yes, that was before I dug it. Because we spent all summer putting shit in there where we had the barrel, right? And there was just a road cone next to it, and after I filled the barrel hole, I had a little dirt up. I'm like, oh, I picked the cone up and went this tamp on to see if I could stop some barrage in it. I went the thing straight down and never touched the thing. Oh, shit. I looked in there like, that's 7 foot. And how we didn't dump a mower in there, because it was probably 3-4 foot to the south of it. There was only sod on it. The week before, I took a zero turn. I thought it was the sewer line.
Right, everybody's here, but.
Deer hunt for the next 14 days. So as long as I get to the end of the day. Oh, what? In Ohio? Next county.
Keith.